Hello, happy solstice. I thought that given that it's midsummer and the middle of the year, that now would be a good time to have a review of the goals that I set myself back in January, which will hopefully appear on the screen here. That was silly, wasn't it? That's okay though. So yeah, I thought it would be good to have a quick check-in with the goals, reflect on how I'm doing for those, and yeah, otherwise just see how we're getting on, see if we need to make any changes. Just because I think it is good to check in with your goals more than once a year. So yes, get comfortable, make yourself a brew, and let's check in. So the first of the goals I set was to move into the new workshop space. And I set this as my first goal because my thinking at the time was that I needed to have that space set up in order to work on some of the other goals. So when we bought the house, I expected that I would just be able to clean up that space, maybe give it a fresh coat of paint and just move straight in and get on with things. So I had expected that I'd be in there sort of mid-April time, but that didn't happen. There has been lots of bumps in the road and a lot more work needed doing than initially anticipated. And so I'm not yet moved in to that space. I'm getting there, it's very close, and I'm hoping that I will have a functional workshop by the end of June. So yeah, it may not be pretty, it may not be exactly how I want it to be, but it will be a space where I can work. So yeah, so that should be by the end of June. Okay, goal number 2. I have actually gone backwards with this goal. So when I set this goal, I had around 180 listings live on Etsy, plus a couple of boxes of stock that is made, ready to go, but has just never been photographed or put on Etsy. So that was it was those couple of boxes of things that were just sitting there that I had in mind when I set this goal. However, since then, I decided that I wanted or needed to do a complete refresh of all of my existing Etsy listings as well. So that means new photographs, new videos, new listing descriptions. Everything needed a refresh. And so I actually took down those 180 listings to start from scratch. Now, I intended to do this during the shop closure. So I was thinking, while my Etsy shop is closed, I could be working behind the scenes, doing my new photos, my new videos, writing the descriptions, getting all of them drafted and ready to go. But that's not happened. So I currently have around 50-ish, between 50 and 60 listings on Etsy at the moment, which is obviously further back than where I started. I just didn't have the time to do it. So between moving, house, decorating, unpacking, I also started working full time, whereas I was previously working part time. So that gave me less time to work on Pretty Stoked. And the time that I am working on Pretty Stoked has all been spent getting the workshop sorted. So I've just, this free time that I thought I was going to have while my Etsy shop was closed to take all of these photographs and draft all of these listings, it just never surfaced. So I am behind on this goal. So this is one that I'm glad I've done this review so that I can sort of give myself that little kick up the butt and say, you need to get on with this. Because I have so many things and they're just sitting here and I want to share them with the world. So yeah, this is one that I need to continue to work on. So this goal I am completely on track with. I'm really happy with this. So far in 2024 I have sent out 5 newsletters. They've not quite worked out monthly. I think I skipped March because the shop wasn't open. I had nothing to really say at that point. And then there were 2 in May when sort of the shop did reopen and the birthday celebrations and all of that. So yeah, there's been 5 months so far, 5 newsletters. We are in month number 6, and newsletter number 6, June's newsletter, will be coming out around the same time as this video actually. So I feel like I'm completely on track with this, and the plan is to just continue to send roughly 1 a month. It might be that there ends up being 2 in December around Christmas time, who knows. We'll see how I get on, but yeah, I'm happy with this one. I have mixed feelings about this goal. So my original thinking was that this would be something that had to wait until I was moved and settled in. And so I set the number at 3, being, you know, it's a bit of a low number, but it's a starting point. And the reason I set it that low was because I was expecting that I wouldn't be able to start working on it until this time of year, until the later half of the year. However, on reflecting, I've realised that there were 3 months this year where I wasn't trading online or in person, where all of the stock that I have made and ready to go, and as I mentioned earlier, it's, you know, there's easily 300 individual items, easily. They could have been in shops, you know. That would have been the perfect opportunity to start building relationships with stockists and actually have that stock sitting on shelves in shops instead of sitting in boxes in storage here. So I'm a little bit disappointed in myself for that. However, I can't go back and change that. But I have made a start on this goal now. So earlier this week, I applied for one stockist that I'm hoping will want to work with me. And I'm keeping an eye out on, basically I follow a load of really gorgeous, really lovely independent shops. And I'm keeping an eye on them for when they next put call out for new stockists. So yeah, I think this one is still achievable. But I feel like I could have been a little bit smarter and used the time a bit more efficiently. So this is my personal favourite goal, and the one that means the most to me, because I do this because I love to create, and yeah, I have not been, and it's a difficult one because this is one that is dependent on me having space to create. So this is one that is actually dependent on the workshop being finished, and as I've mentioned, the workshop isn't finished yet. And I've really missed creating, I have. So recently, I've sort of changed my thinking on this a little bit. And whilst it is true that there are certain things that I can't do without the workshop, so I don't have space in the new house to do the messy things like using resin, using certain paints and certain materials that have toxic fumes. I don't have space for that, or that might cause damage that can't be cleaned up. I don't have space for that. That's what the workshop's for. Same with things that make a lot of mess, like drilling and sanding. Nowhere in the house that I can do that. There are things that I can do in the house though, the things that are less messy. So recently I've been playing around with things like beads and charms and making jewellery using those instead. And I'm excited to show you what I've created. Now these will have a different price point to the ones where I am making everything from scratch. So obviously a charm that I've made myself and turned into an earring is taking me more time, more effort, more materials than a charm that I've bought and turned into an earring. So that is going to be reflected in my pricing when I'm ready to sell those. But at the moment, I'm just having fun. It's been nice. I've made some earrings. I mean, look, I made these yesterday. Yeah, I've been creating again and I love it. So yeah, this is one that I'm really excited to get my teeth back into. So yeah, overall, and I guess in conclusion, despite having some setbacks and some delays, I still think that all 5 of these goals are achievable in the next 6 months, and they are also all things that I still want to work on, and they're still relevant to Pretty Stoked Jewellery. So yeah, whilst it is good to have this mid-year check-in and review and see how things are going and see if I wanted to change direction, actually nothing's going to change at this point and I'm feeling on the right track. So yeah, have a wonderful Midsummer's Day and enjoy the longest day of the year, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Is it a nice day?
Oh, it's a beautiful day. Love the British summertime.